Welcome to another episode of Two Ales and Hockey Tales with Wally. Half day, Christmas vacation started early. Cabinet maker, Canadian Pale Ale, Bayfield Brewing Company. And today, I am so excited to have on a 48-year-old from Toronto, Ontario, Canada. His hockey journey has taken him to Canada, the USA, Italy, Switzerland, and Germany. Played 8 seasons professionally in 5 countries. Coached 14 seasons across 4 countries, working his way from assistant coach of the Wexford Raiders of the OPGHL to head coach of Bolzano in the Ebel, or whatever you want to call it, and coach of Lugano in the Swiss A-League and the Spengler Cup. Now is a world-renowned agent with Optima World Sports, and rumor has it, his honey holes are Switzerland, Austria, and Sweden. And today's sponsor is obviously the Bayfield Brewing Company. Sorry for having so many sober episodes lately, folks. I had to work. But welcome to the shed, Pat Curcio.
Thanks for having me, buddy. Thanks for having me. Excited to be here.
Well, nice to meet you. I get into how we know each other, and I guess we've never met, right?
No, that's right. No, our paths have crossed, but we never actually met.
Well, when we get into this, man, it's a small world. Oh dear. I bet you I'll catch you off guard with a few names here, but
sure.
Okay. But how we know each other is I got your number from your partner, episode 84, David Amonte, right?
Okay. Yeah.
So you guys are partners. So you are what? You're running Switzerland, Austria, and Sweden?
Yeah, more or less. Those are my markets and some of the Italian teams as well, just because my background coming from Italy. So those are basically what I hit up the most.
Nice. Okay. And then a couple other names just off the start when you sent me your pictures for the poster. You were coached by Kevin Gaudet.
I was for a few years. He was our coach, and he's still coaching now.
I know. What team does he coach now?
He's in Bad Tolz in the DEL too.
Yeah, he ran me out of town in Bietigheim. We didn't gel, you could say. Anyways, another guy that said to say hi to you, Leigh Salters.
Oh, big Leigh. Yeah.
You were his coach in London, eh?
I was, yeah. Yeah.
So
what's Leigh doing now?
He's a firefighter out in Vancouver.
Wow. That's amazing.
And his episode was in the 60s, I think. If you want to really get to know where he's at and what he's doing, that's basically what I'm doing now, right?
Okay, cool. I'll have to go back and listen. Leigh was a great guy. I loved coaching Leigh.
So he would have been a teenager then?
Yeah, he would have been probably 18 years old then.
So was he as good looking then as he is now? Because
mighty Thor. He was the mighty Thor.
Even as a teenager, eh? My God.
Just jacked.
The girls in London high schools, look out, eh?
Exactly.
Good gosh. The wives in Cardiff could not contain themselves. But seriously, every game at the blue line, they'd sing the Welsh national anthem and he'd have his bucket off, the long Thor hair, right?
Yeah.
And then he would flip it back and douse himself with water, and you could just see every guy in the crowd go and every girl just go So anyways, Leigh said to say hi.
Thank you, I appreciate that. If you're talking to him, say hi.
All right. Yeah, our idea, me and him just decided we're gonna do a Brayhead clan episode. He's gonna bring on some buddies of his from when he was in with the clan. We'll get that fan base going, you know.
Right on.
Okay. You also coached a couple other Potters, but we'll get into all that. Jeepers, it's a small world. But a lot of my former coaches, were part of your life. So we'll get into that. So my first question is, where and what are you doing now?
Well, I'm living in Texas. Just got back from Europe. We were there for about 7 weeks where I hit up all the countries just before COVID took over another lockdown the last couple of weeks. So just lucky to get that trip in. So we're back here now, and we're working on a few big projects right now. Pretty cool ones. Going to be amazing, game changing stuff.
So when you keep saying "we're" and "we," who was with you going? So
Dave and Gary, two of my partners, past weeks. We kind of meet in a few different countries, Germany, Austria, hang out for a few days, then go our own ways and stuff like that. So we're trying to hit every team and all the players we can on these trips to make them as worthwhile as possible. We did about 6 weeks straight, so it was pretty interesting.
So you guys are coming up with new ideas. I wouldn't doubt that. Like when I would see how agents would try and do it, they'd each have their own little pocket of teams they could deal with, right? And I would have an agent. My agent was Austria and like Switzerland, and then the second league in Germany a little bit, but he only took me because he thought he'd get me out of there. And then when he didn't get me out of there, he kind of gave up on me, right?
Well, we never give up on our guys. We try to just have different markets that we have better connections in, and we just move guys between us, but we're always one tight team. That's what we try.
Well, it sounds like a great idea. Like really, it sounds fantastic for the players that they can, if you have a big year, you also have the resources to go elsewhere. And if you have a shitty year, you also do, right?
Exactly. No, I think, but that's exactly right. Where we have everything in covered, so we can take care of our guys for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Because when I like the agents I had, realistically, they had their honey holes, right? And then if you were looking elsewhere, they really didn't know who to contact, or they just really didn't act like it was an option.
At least that's why we have the furthest reach. We hit everything. Yeah, it's great.
Well, hey, maybe I should have had you guys as agents back in the day. Who knows what could happen?
He'd still be playing. He'd still be going. Man.
Probably have a way bigger house. Okay. Anyways, it all happens for a reason. All the stuff I went through gives me lots to talk about on here.
100%.
So growing up in Toronto, and how'd you get into hockey?
Oh man, that's a crazy long story. Interesting one. So I'm first generation Italian. So my parents came from Italy and they had no idea what hockey was.
Where in Italy?
So my father's from Calabria in the south, and my mother's from Rome.
Okay. Yep. No, I've been to Rome. Yeah. Just curious.
No, for sure. So then we grew up. We were in Toronto, grew up, and then my dad was a barber, and he opened his own shop near Georgetown, Ontario. So we moved there in 1979. I was 6 years old. And I got into hockey with the Macaulay family. You know the famous referee?
I was born in Georgetown 4 years later, though. I know that.
No way.
Yeah. 80. I'm an 83 circuit at Georgetown, Ontario.
Okay. So my sister and my brother and I were born in Toronto. We moved to Georgetown in 79. My younger brother and my sister were born in Georgetown. My sister's an 80. My brother's a 79. And we lived in Georgetown until my grandparents got sick in about 86. We moved back to Toronto. So we were there about 7 years. And that's how I got started in hockey with Macaulays and the Finns. So I went to school with them at Holy Cross in Georgetown.
Okay. I don't know Georgetown. I left when I was 1 year old to Elmira, but I don't know the area, but that's how you got into hockey, eh?
That's how I got into hockey. And then it was just ingrained in my blood, and my parents didn't want me to play, but no one was going to stop me. I just kept fighting my way through. And crazy story I always tell is, my father was always busy, and we didn't really have much money, and registration was about $200, and they didn't know I was going to play. So I lied to them every Saturday, so I was going out to play with friends. And I went to the Georgetown Arena, registered for hockey. I was probably 8 years old at the time. And I signed my parents' name. I said, don't worry, my parents are going to come and pay. Well, 3 months went by. I thought, oh man, I keep playing every Saturday. No one's asked for the money. This is great. One day I come home from hockey, and my mother got a phone call to collect the money. She went crazy, and they locked me into the cubby hole.
Oh man, what a story though. Like you signed yourself up for hockey at 8 years old, and you've made a lifetime of hockey since.
Yeah, exactly. That's right. We talk about it still. My mother still reminds me how she didn't want me to play, and now look at where we are today.
Yeah, man, that's wild. I only got into hockey. I guess my parents put me into it because their friends were putting their kids in hockey, but they had never been in the hockey life, didn't know anything about it. And it's just your passion, right? Once you get into something.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So then how do you go from that, work your way up to getting to the Ottawa 67s?
Oh man, you're asking some great questions, Brent. So what happened was, when we moved back to Toronto, I would hang out at Chesswood Arena every day, and all the pros were skating. They used to skate all summer long, and I just wanted to skate with the pros. I was like 14, 15 years old. And then every day when the pros were missing some guys, they'd let me get on the ice and skate. And there was guys like the Cavallini brothers that played for St. Louis, Steve Thomas, Doug Gilmore, Maurice Catenacci, guys that played in Europe, and all these different, Mike Ware, who's a big Cardiff player.
These are all my heroes. You're talking in like,
yeah. So then they started letting me skate, and then when I was skating, one of the guys was Maurice Catanacci. We represent his son Daniel, who was drafted by Buffalo. He wanted he said to me, "Can you get your Italian passport? There's a new rule in Italy saying if you come now, you'll play as a non-import." So at 16, he got me a pro job in Cavallese. I was playing with Tom McMurtry, bunch of pros, Sean Simpson, all these guys, and I was 16 years old. I was there for a year and a half. It's not on my stat sheet. It's weird. It should be.
It's not. The research team didn't find that.
They didn't find that.
No.
And then my dream was to play in the OHL. I wasn't drafted. And then a year and a half after being in Italy, I kind of became a pretty good player skating with these guys. And, even though I wasn't getting a lot of ice time.
It makes you a lot better, doesn't it? Just being around
guaranteed. And working hard, staying on after practice. And then back then there was no cell phones. There were only paved phones. So I called every team collect. And Brian Kilray was the first one to say, "I'll give you a shot if you come back." I got on the next plane in December, landed in Toronto, didn't even stop to see my parents, and I went right to Ottawa. And then that's how I made the 67th. I ended up living at Killer's house, and then we traded for Mike Pekka, who became my best friend in junior and early on in his pro career. So that's how it kind of started.
Oh, that's really wild story.
Yeah.
One of my best buddies growing up, Rodney Bauman, played for Killer too for the Ottawa 67s. Yeah.
I know the name. Yeah.
Yeah. He always raved about him. He just loved playing for him.
Oh, I got some crazy Killer stories. It was unbelievable. Yeah. It was some funny stuff with Killer. We used to drink beer in his basement, and all the time he didn't mind if we were drinking there, but then, we wanted to go out and meet people. So we were always at the bars, and we were always underage. And then finally he comes in one time and he says to Mike Peck, and we're sitting there, he goes, "If you want to be like Curcio, bum on a bar stool his whole life, you better stop hanging around with him." And he's kicking me down his stairs. Geez, the stories were crazy. We had some fun times, but yeah, it was great. He wasn't wrong. Pekka played a long time in the
NHL. He was a great player too in the NHL. Yeah. That's a wild story. So you only played in Ottawa for 1 year?
So yeah, back to the funny story. So then after that year, I went back. The team in Italy was supposed to go down to the second league. So I would have been a free agent. They would let me to play, but they didn't. They were back up in the top league. So they owned my rights, and they had asked Ottawa for, like, at that time, I want to say 25 or 30,000 for the money that you paid me for my release. And Killer was like, "We just don't have it." So again, I called around every team, and Prince Albert in the Western Hockey League said, "Well, if you make our team, we'll pay that fee." So I went out there.
You played one game.
One game in Prince Albert, and it was like, they said, "There's no way we're paying 30 grand for this guy." And I was like, "Thank God I can't stay in this town." It was minus 1,000 in September. It was crazy. And I had got in trouble a little bit the first night there. I went to a Subway, and apparently I was hitting on some girls, and a couple Indian boys didn't like it. And we got into a little fisticuffs outside the Subway. And the next thing I know, Rico Rossi, Mike Zanier, and Ron Flocker was coaching Dallas, and I was 19 years old. And they said, "You don't need a release to come play pro for me." I took the Greyhound from Saskatchewan to Dallas, and the next thing I know, I was playing pro for the Dallas Freeze.
And that was the first coach I've had to come up so far, Rico Rossi.
Rico and I played together. We were line mates. Yeah.
Yeah. He was, when Kevin Gaudette, your former coach, runs me out of town in Bietigheim. Actually, what happened was I had hernia surgery. I'm not playing. I'm done for the year. So I'm in the VIP room with like the big sponsors, and I'm having beers because my season's over. And Rico's there to watch the game. And this is how it works in Germany, right? We're standing there,
beers in the VIP room,
and we're standing there having a beer. And he goes, because he had tried to sign me my first year at Germany after I played him in the playoffs. And he says to me, we're having a beer. He goes, "Well, I know we've talked about this before." He's like, "But always wanted you to play for me. Maybe now's the time." And I was like, maybe. And next thing you know, he sends me an offer. I go to Kevin. I said, "Well, here's what they've offered." And he says, "Well, I ain't signing you for that." And it was for less money than I was making. I'm like, "Oh dear." I guess like it's time.
Yeah, no kidding. Jesus.
But yeah, funny. So Rico was in Dallas with you. Eh? I always liked Rico. I got nothing against him. We underachieved that year. I had a good year. We underachieved, but you know how it is in Germany. Your team underachieves. You ship out every import on the team, and that's what they did.
That's how it works. Yeah, unfortunately, no doubt.
Yeah. So
No
Rico,
doubt.
I got nothing against you, buddy. Come to the shed. Let's chat.
Love it.
Yeah. So Dallas Freeze, you're playing pro then out of nowhere just to get out of the Italian contract.
Yes, just to get out of that. And then I played that year in Dallas. And then I got invited. Gino Briaco, who I met in Italy, was head of Tampa Bay had just started. I think it was like 92, 93. And Gene said, I'll get you to camp and with Phil. And they did. I ended up in Atlanta pretty quick. And then and that was the IHL. And then they shipped me down to the ECHL where I bounced around. You know how the ECHL goes when especially you don't have a contract. Those were the early days of the real wild, wild west. It was crazy.
Well, okay. Here's another way. It's a small world since we've never met. You were also a Daytona Beach Bomber of Ohio.
I sure was. We made a mess in that town.
So what arena did you play in?
The old one with the bowling alley dressing room.
So you were downtown area, right?
We were downtown, yeah.
I was at the school, right? The right.
Oh, the bigger rink.
The Nutter Center.
Yeah.
Always liked the name of that arena, the Nutter Center.
The Nutter Center.
It was quite the facility. They were good at putting basketball in, not so good at putting ice in.
No doubt in that area.
The Florida Everblades, I remember, flew all the way to Daytona Beach, Ohio, and they were going to not play us because our ice was too bad.
Daytona Beach, Ohio.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
So were you around the university then? So you did have some fun though in the coast, eh?
Oh yeah, we had fun on the coast. Too much fun. The stories were endless.
So yeah, so Daytona Beach, I was also there. You also played for the Huntsville Blast and the Charlotte Checkers. That's a team that's still around, right?
Yeah, now they're in the American League, I think they're called. I don't know if they're the Checkers anymore, but that team's in the American League now.
Oh, right. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. Next season.
Yeah.
You play. I only wrote down some of the names of the people I know. Okay. So Brantford Smoke, 94, 95. I know he had a mullet because he's a former Potter. Episode 15 or 16. John East, my junior B coach.
Oh man, he used to wear cowboy boots and a mullet every day with a t-shirt. Didn't matter
or just blonde mullet, eh?
Oh yeah, funny days.
Okay, the Brantford Smoke, though, good name of a team, eh?
Yeah, it was a great spot to play. I always hoped that team was going to survive. We just couldn't. The fans wouldn't come to the rink, but we did have the Gretzky of that league, Paul Pillow. He was unbelievable. Paul Pillow, he wore the Jofa helmet. I swear to God, he was like the Gretzky in that league. He was incredible.
I think it's kind of cool, though, that you guys are making money and you're still in Ontario, right?
It was awesome. It was great playing pro there. Yeah.
Yeah, like that's never happened since I've they
tried in Brampton the last couple of years, but it didn't work.
Yeah. Well, you got to have other teams around, right? Like Brampton to travel all over the place. Like if there's Brantford and everywhere else, maybe it's not such a big deal.
Correct. No, that's right. Our trips were wild. We went everywhere. Yeah. Saginaw was our closest trip, I think.
So that's the other team you played for, the Saginaw Wheels, eh?
Yeah. The old Wheels.
And then that's the end of your North American professional career, eh?
That was it. Then went overseas back to Italy.
So then you go to Milan. So are you an import?
I had a Italian passport, but I was an under 24. So I played under that under 24 rule. They kept changing the rules over there all the time. So I got in there as an under 24 and had a big year. That was a really good year for us. And then they changed that's when the EU rules came in. That's when the whole thing started, where the EU, the soccer player took them to court. The EU came in, the Euro came in, and basically, if you had an Italian passport, you can work and then live in any country in Europe. And then Germany bought up all the players, and that's how we ended up going to Germany because we were. Is
that how it happened?
Yeah.
I heard stories of what it was like hockey before the Euro. Because like my coach would show up in land suit in like a brand new Porsche or whatever. And I'm like, was he that good? And they're like, oh, in Germany before the Euro, guys were making crazy money.
I talk about this all the time. We made more money in the 90s than guys are making today. I mean, you talk about inflation and cost of living. You could buy a house for 150 grand in the 90s. We were making 120, 130. Now no one makes that kind of money. It's crazy.
I saw it shrink while I was there. And I think a lot of it had to do with the guys that would go over, very similar to what I did. And I'm the problem. And I'm sorry, folks. I was part of the problem. I went over there on a prove yourself deal. And as soon as those prove yourself deals started over there, the market just tanked, right?
Then everyone wanted to go. Then the euro came in, and the euro cost everything. I'll give everyone an example because I always use beer as an example. It used to be like one Deutschmark. Okay, you could buy a beer. When the euro came in, 1 euro cost 2 Deutschmarks, but a beer cost 2 Deutschmarks. So that means now it's 4 lira. So things went up fourfold when the euro came in. Crazy.
Yeah. And it's crazy how strong Germany's economy has always been with all that, right?
Yeah, it's crazy. So they really, really hurt the Europeans. Their dollar was cut in a quarter. Yeah.
Man. Yeah, it's interesting history. Hey, we're like historians, aren't we? This was
I remember
people thought this was a hockey podcast, but you're wrong, folks. We're teaching you about all sorts of shit.
That's right.
Oh God, but the exchange rates, I tell you, that changes people's careers too. Like whether or not they want to go back to play hockey. If the euro's at 1.7 compared to 1.2 or 3, it changes how bad you want to play.
Telling you, as Canadians, we were lucky because euro was always in that range. It's still pretty good now, but coming back to Canada, you make 40-50% on your salary, and it was all tax free. So that was the other thing that hurt the money because they knew the Canadians would come over cheap. We even went over, just wanted to play. It was crazy.
Well, I remember when I went to Germany, right? I go for like cheap, right? So whatever, I'll tell it on here. 20,000 euros, right? That's my contract for the year. It doesn't sound like much, but it's tax free, whatever. People won't get it. But anyways, that's what you go for. But the other imports on my team that were the same level of hockey player as me were making probably double that, maybe more, or around that. And then once a few of us came over and showed that you could get a younger guy over to prove it, next thing you know, that's what every team wanted.
Yeah. That's what it was. It was changed the whole environment. Yeah.
Sorry, players. I'm trying to help you out now. I'm on your, I don't know. I was just doing what I thought was right.
Just passionate. Wanted to play.
Well, I wanted out of the coast. I know that.
Yeah,
but realistically, I should have told my agent, like, I wanted out at the start of the summer, and said, like, get me out of here, go to Europe. And then he could have worked on it instead of just waiting for a friend to call. Yeah. Where are we here? Okay. We're heading to Europe. You played in Milan, and you are under 24, but an import.
Yes. Yes, even with a time passport.
But you ripped it up. So what's that league like back then? Because you had 51 points in 32 games.
Yeah, if you look at all the players, there was a lot of great players. And I was just fortunate enough. We didn't have a great team, but I played like 25 minutes a night with Richard Borgo and Emi Iovio as my wingers. And man, we just clicked and had a big year. We didn't win many games, but the three of us had big seasons. That was for sure. It was fun.
And there's a lot of those teams in Europe, where there's a line of imports or whatever, and then the rest of the team's just not good, right?
Oh my God, it was bad. I still see some of those guys in Milan. Like, not one of them played hockey after that year. We used to joke around with them. It was like, what were they even doing on the team? Like, it was just, they were just there to fill holes, just to have body. It was so funny.
Oh man, when I was in Bietigheim, and there was a couple tough years of junior kids coming up, when we had injuries. Like, they legit had to put a kid in from the junior team that was so not ready, but he was like 6'3" and he was big. Yeah. So he got the puck and I've never seen a kid get hit so hard in my life. Like, an import came down the wall and thinks this kid's 6'3" German. But he was so not ready to play pro. And wow, did he get lit up. It's the fun stuff you see over there, isn't it?
I love it. Love it.
Yeah, I can see how you've had a life in hockey, because the hockey over there is really funny sometimes.
Oh man, no doubt.
What's the wildest, I'm just curious question while we're talking about it. Probably the wildest game I've seen over there was when I was playing in Garmisch, Germany. We were winning handily with Landshut my first year. And the fans of Garmisch were so angry at their team, they started throwing glass beer on the ice, like smashing all over the ice. What's your wildest story? You've been around over there a long time.
Man, we had some crazy times. So, I mean, as you're probably going forward here, you'll see Vadamark that we had Kevin coached our team. We had the Band of Bandits. We had Brian Fogarty, David Haas, Jason Lafreniere, Troy Crowder, Francois Gravel, Gary Lehman, Randy Burridge. I mean, that dressing room was unbelievable. And the Scorpions, the rock band, they were always around. Their wives used to come in the dressing room with mini skirts this thick, this high, and bring us cases of beer and bend over and hand us beer. And they would just laugh as their wives' asses are hanging out in the dressing room. And we would be walking around naked. And the stories are endless for those 4 years.
And Kevin Gaudette's your coach. So what the hell happened to him? Because no, you know what? I was sick of beating hype too, though, because they had I had been there for a few years, and every year it had gone down, down, down. Yeah. And then they had said, like, we're going to get better. We're going to sign you again, but we're going to be better. And then the team they brought in, I was like, really? I was just done. But no, that he sounds like that. Like he let it be fun back then, man.
He did. He was a young guy. Kevin was really young. He couldn't have been much older than the players. He was probably the same age. And he used to tell us if we won Friday, Sunday, we get 2 days off. And Brian Fogarty would go in on Sunday. We'd win on Friday. And he'd say, for sure, Kevin, for sure, like in front of the whole team, for sure, we win tonight. We got 2 days off. And sure enough, we'd find a way to win, get 2 days. We'd show up Wednesday, have Kabini Fest again Wednesday night after we partied Monday, Tuesday. Kabini Fest Wednesday, ate and sweat Thursday, back at her Friday, Sunday, then do it all over again. It was unbelievable.
And that is not what it was like when I was there. But Brian Fogarty did come up another time on the pod. I had Scott Pearson on, who was his.
Oh, did you? Yeah.
Yeah, he was my roller hockey coach.
Oh, Fogarty was the best player I've probably ever seen. Natural talent.
And I had no idea he was that good. I didn't really know the name. And then Scott told me about him and sent me some stuff about him. And man, that sounds like
unbelievable.
Yeah.
So he would, when he wanted to play. When he wanted to play, I'll tell you one game. We're in Frankfurt, 1-1 game in the playoffs. He had gone out the night before, so Kevin hadn't played him a shift yet. We're in the middle of the third period. He's sitting in the middle of the bench, Bogey. He looks down. He says to him, "You gonna put me on the fucking ice? I'll win this goddamn game." Everyone's looking at him, and like Kevin's like, "Okay, we're up next." He literally hadn't took a shift yet the whole game. Stopped behind our net. This is no exaggeration. He got the puck, turned it up, went end to end, fed Gary Lehman for a backdoor tap in with 2-1. We won the game. Came off the bench after we scored, sat back down. He was, "I'm done for the night." One shift. That's no lie, 100% the way it happened. Unbelievable.
So Kevin had not played him all night because he had gone out?
Gone out the night before. Yeah.
Yeah. And but at the end of the day, they still want to win, don't they?
Well, absolutely. Every coach does, buddy. I always tell players this now. If you're not playing, it's something you're doing wrong, because I guarantee a coach ain't playing you because doesn't want to win. He wants to win. So you better figure it out.
Exactly. You know? I've never met a coach that wants to lose.
Exactly. So they're not sitting you because they think they can't win. They can win without you. Believe me.
Exactly. No, anyways, moving on. Okay. But it is true though, that for players, it would, like for myself, when I got ran out of Bietigheim, and no, but seriously, like you got to look in the mirror. Like,
yeah,
I did let myself get out of Bietigheim. I wanted out. Right. I did. And then the way it went with the other teams, it's really all what you put into it, right? Whatever 100%. You put into it, you get out of it.
You get out of it, 100%.
Start of my Bietigheim time, I was putting a lot more into it than the end. Okay, where are we now? You're still playing hockey? Yeah. You're playing for Kevin Gaudette. Where are we?
Yeah,
played there from Milan. You went from Milan to Germany. That's where we are, right?
Yeah. My son was born there in 1999. He was born in Hanover. He'll be 23 this February. That's how long it's been.
Holy moly. Where's he living?
Vancouver. I got to set him up with Leigh Salters. They got to go out and have a few drinks.
He could be the wingman.
Yeah, my son's got the long hair like I did when I was a young player.
Jeepers. He goes out with Leigh Salters. You'll get all sorts.
You get the leftovers. You'll be happy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We'll all be looking at Leigh, but as long as you're there, buddy. As long as you're there.
No doubt.
Oh, okay. So sorry. Second year in Europe. I'm back on track. Okay. You were in Milan. Then you went. Then I asked you a random question. We got sidetracked. Okay.
Yeah.
Second year in Europe, though, you play one game in the Swiss B League.
Yeah. I was there for a long time, though. I was there a few months with Claude Vilgrain and Devin Edgerton, but you can only dress 2 imports. So I was there just hanging out, and man, I had a good time.
And they pay well. They're paid well when I was over there.
Yeah, they paid well then too. And we were in Harrisdale, an awesome town. It was a lot. I had a lot of fun.
Is that the start of the season?
No, it was the end. It was the end of the season.
Oh,
the last
okay.
3 months. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay. So if Switzerland's one of your honey holes, I got to talk to you about the end of the seasons over there. Okay. But let's get into the rest of that year first. So you played in Ravensburg. You had no roof on your arena then, right?
That's right. It was crazy. Just it was nuts. And I signed in Ravensburg first, and back, like you said, the money was crazy, but there was no arena, no roof. It was terrible. We were a good team, but it was a great town. I had a lot of fun. And then Hanover, the Weidemar Scorpions, ran into a bunch of injuries, and I wasn't an import because I had my passport with these new rules. And somehow I found my way up there and then never left.
Wow, good for you.
Yeah.
So you're basically like having a German passport back then, but it was Italian.
Exactly. Yeah. Then they changed the rules after and just went to the 9-10 imports in the DL. Yeah.
Us imports, we got to grind it out, boys. Don't worry about it. But the reason I knew about Ravensburg not having the roof is when I went there as like a Landshut Cannibal or a Beating Out Sealer or whatever, is they had a nice rink, and it was, I guess,
just
what
built.
are they called? The Tower Stars. But a guy had played there and was telling me what it used to be like, because he had played for the team before the new rink, and he was saying there was no roof.
No roof. We had an outdoor rink. It was like a soccer field, stands on one side, wooden thing over the benches. So we walked to a trailer. It was unbelievable. The beer was always cold in that trailer, I tell you. It was something else. It was one thing I never forgot. It was so cold in there, but the beer was always cold.
Oh, man. I love Germany, man. Like, it was a great atmosphere. Great time. Okay. So then you go to Vettermarket for 27 DL games. But my question then for the Swiss League, okay, I played with a fella in Bietigheim who had told me about the Swiss B League, where you go there, you make a really good salary, you play for the year, and then the season ends and the Swiss A teams are like, well, we need backup. We need some guys for the playoffs. And he's like, they'll pay you like 20 grand to just go hang out for the playoffs. Is this true?
100% true. Yes, it is.
So why didn't they ever call me, for fuck's sake?
You had a bad agent, right? You needed a good agent to get.
Where was Optimus Sports when I needed them? Navigating Lieutenant, Light Lager, Bayfield Brewing Company.
That's awesome.
I don't even know if Bayfield's still my sponsor. I haven't been drinking on the pod lately, but the girl that set it all up has left, and I wrote to whoever is on the Instagram, like, hey, so is this still a thing or what's going on? And
it looks good though.
It said they seen it. They didn't even write back. This is the best beer around. I love it. This is a Navigating Lieutenant, folks, and Bayfield Brewing Company. I've been loving supporting you, and I love everything you've done for me. So thank you. Over the last 8 months, I've loved drinking your beers. Back on track. Took a half day today, folks.
Love it.
Yeah. Never met you before, but I figured, when I saw this, I'm like, this might take a while. I better take a half day. This doesn't look like a lunch hour pod. And it's Friday and it's almost Christmas.
Yeah, no doubt.
But actually, I got to bring this up now before I forget, because you said you saw the Devils jersey in the background.
Yeah.
So episode 34, Garrett Mears, his wife. I don't know if you know Garrett Mears. He played in the Coast.
I know the name, yeah.
But anyways, I played with him on the Ripley Wolves. It was my senior A at the end of my Cardiff Devils time. I shouldn't have been playing. My knee shouldn't have been playing, but I did, to meet people around here. And he was the captain. He's a great guy, genuine guy. He's still one of my best buddies, does anything for anybody. Just a great person. And so is his wife, who works with my wife. And she was in a car accident, and they She is on the road to recovery, but they got a lot ahead of them. So I am raffling off this jersey. It's going to be done tomorrow. So you're going to have to listen to this pod real quick, but the raffle ends tomorrow, or no, Saturday. That's tomorrow. Yep. And anyways, the tickets are £2 each, and it's at my website, www.aleshockeytales.com. And so that raffle will end tomorrow. I'll find out who wins this jersey, as well as a Steven Dixon game-worn jersey from the Cardiff Devils and a Gratz 99ers signed, full team signed jersey. That's all on my website, and it's £2 a ticket. But anyways, it'll be done soon, and I get to go to his game tomorrow, see the boys on the Wolves, and I get to tell Murzy what I've done for him. So thank you, everybody. So far there has been 460 tickets sold.
Nice.
So thank you, everybody. I'm not crying again, but it's pretty cool what my shed's done in the last 10 months, and that I can help my friends now. So thank you.
Awesome.
Yeah. Okay. Now I don't know where we are again.
You're at the end. You're at the end of my career. So after Hanover,
So after Kevin Gaudet and Scorpions. Yeah. So the Scorpions, that was a German band.
Yes. Yeah. Here I am. Rock me like a hurricane.
Those are the guys in the locker room with you?
Yeah.
And their wives in the skirts?
And
really?
The team, and the team is still supported by them. The team's still called the Hanover Scorpions. And for years, when we go on the road, they're always supporting. They were unbelievable guys, man. Rudolph Schenker, the lead guitarist, used to be down in the dressing room with his son. It was crazy. So much fun.
And by the way, one of the coolest rinks still in hockey, eh?
Oh, yeah. The Wedemark Arena is amazing.
But it's called the Hanover rink. What's Wedemark? That's
the town that they play in. So the town is like half an hour out of Hanover. That's where the Hasselbacher family lives, and they run the team.
Oh, yeah. Okay. But that's a cool rink.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah, when you're pissing in a real trough, that's when you know you're in a rink.
That's when you know, boys.
That's when you're in a rink.
Yeah.
When it's not urinals and you're in a trough, that's living. If you don't know what I'm talking about, then you don't know what real rinks are.
No doubt.
Okay, so then, Kevin Gaudet's your coach that whole time, and he lets you have fun, and
it was
must
great.
like him. That's good. Just kidding. Anyways, so then you play in the German third league for 4 games played, and then what's the decision to shut it down? You're with Bayreuth.
Yeah, just at that time, son was a year old, thought in Bayreuth there was like, that's enough. And I had come off a knee injury and thought I'm going to get into coaching and being an agent, and that's what I did right away.
So you thought you wanted to be an agent right away?
My first before I started coaching, I was an agent. The name you might not recognize because you're a young guy, but Gus Badali. I grew up with Mark Montanari, who's his nephew. Gus Badali is a pioneer. He was Gretzky's agent, Coffey's agent, Lemieux's agent, Mark Messier's agent. He started the whole business in the 70s and the early 80s. He found Gretzky when he came to Toronto when he was 14 years old from Brantford and started representing him. Still to this day, friends, Gus has got to be 80 years old now. And Gus was my idol because I knew he represented all these guys. I retired from Bayreuth. I'm at an arena on a Saturday afternoon watching hockey. I look over and I see this old man watching hockey. And I said, Gus? He looks over at me like, Pat? I said, yeah. I walk over and we start talking. He goes, you want to have lunch on Monday? I said, yeah. So we have lunch on Monday. He goes, you got what it takes to be an agent. He goes, you want to work with me?
Where did you see him?
In Toronto at York University. And he says, yeah. I said, I will. I said, what does it pay? He goes, nothing. I said, I'm in. He goes, you got to recruit. So that's how it all started. And I started coaching, and coaching went one way, and then full circle 20 years later, and I got back to being an agent after coaching all those years.
Okay. So you were an agent at the start.
Yes.
I had a question between playing and coaching. What was in between there? So did you say you went to law school?
I was going to go to law school. I applied, took law and security, did a bunch of different crazy things, and wrote my
research team was pretty hot today. I don't know where I found that.
Yeah, you guys are on top of it. And then, And then I just continued on coaching. I didn't continue with school.
So yeah, I don't know what it's like in Toronto, but so you're coaching like the whatever it's called, Wexford
Raiders. Yeah.
So you get paid to do that?
Yeah.
So that's your job?
That was my job. Yep. So
interesting.
But I also ran skates in hockey schools, did private. So you actually wouldn't believe how much money you could make doing that stuff. Crazy.
There's so many of my buddies, man, that are into the hockey school.
And we started that. Like, that was early on when it was really, we got her going. We kind of paved the way for these guys today.
There's so many options out there, right? And it's like, how do you choose?
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely more of a market back then, eh?
Yeah.
Okay. Anyways, curious. So Wexford, then I see you're still coaching, like you coach like a minor hockey team, you coach Pickering, but then, so those are all your jobs.
Yeah.
Didn't know that. Okay. So then how do you get to the London Knights as an assistant coach?
Yeah. So I was coaching the Pickering Panthers. We took the last place team into the finals, and we had a few players that the Hunter brothers were scouting. So they would come watch the games. And, so, I just wanted to meet them all the time. So I always introduced myself. And then that year, the draft was in Columbus. And I went down to the draft and met this guy drinking beer at the bar. His name was Randy Clark. God rest his soul. He passed away 2 years ago, but unbelievable person. And he was Dale Hunter's best friend. They grew up together and farmed in Petrolia. And I'm drinking at the bar, and this guy Randy's drinking at the bar, and we're in Columbus, and we start shooting the shit. As fate will have it, he's Dale's best friend and says, "Oh yeah, let's go drinking with Dale. He's at another bar." So we went drinking with Dale, and me and Dale hit it off. Drank for about 3 days straight at the draft, and then he hired me to be his assistant coach, and the rest is history.
Geez, isn't it weird how it all works? When you look back on it, and but it's, I guess, being a good dude, right? And if you're sitting there and that guy doesn't take a shine to you, you don't end up with Dale that night, and your life goes a different way, right?
100%, man. 100%. Yeah. Crazy.
It is crazy. Okay. So you're there, and that's when you guys are running amok. So what's your job as an assistant coach? What do you get?
I was running the D. I actually found John Carlson. Mark and I went down to see John. He was playing for the Indiana Ice. I watched him in warm up, just the way he wore his tongues and skates. I said, "This guy's a player, Mark. We got to get him." And we drove twice back and forth, and I
know
round.
When someone's a player in 2 seconds.
Just when you see them how they were in warm up, you could tell if they're a player. And this guy was a player. He was unbelievable. And then we got him to London. Man, we had him, John Tavares, Nazem Kadri, the list, Delgado, the list goes on. We were an unbelievable team. We won 50 games out of 66. Didn't even know what it was like to lose a game. You just normally win every night. It was crazy. It was an amazing year. It was wild.
I know what you mean. Like, it's weird for me because, like, when you're around hockey for as long as you've been, and like now for me, myself, I've been out of it now for a while, but like I always told people, I'm like, all you gotta do is watch the way people walk, see them talk, chit chat with them, have a podcast with them. I can tell you a player review on anybody I've podcasted with.
100%.
I don't think you want yours yet. Just kidding. Okay. Anyways, London Knights. So you guys won the whole thing or no?
We lost in the finals that year. Windsor won the whole thing.
Oh, that was with like Taylor Hall and them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So
we had no goalie. Our goalie didn't play as well as he should have.
So pretty interesting then, going from coaching the Wexford Raiders to all those studs then. Like, is it hard for a coach to feel like you know enough to teach kids like that?
I don't know. I think, my pro career and lifelong passion student of hockey, I just grab the bull by the horns, continue to learn, work hard every day, and, try to give them the best guidance you could. That's kind of was my my philosophy.
No, I agree. And like, you don't, totally. Okay. So then next question, you go to Utah, East Coast, whatever, Sioux, OHL. But then my question, what I really want to know about is becoming the GM, head coach, and president of the San Francisco Bulls. How does that all go down?
Man, so I'm an entrepreneur at heart. I always find myself into these projects. And I went to San Francisco. We actually played in Stockton. And when I was coaching Utah, we went to San Francisco for the day. And I was like, this place is incredible. What a spot. It would be great to have a hockey team. And from there, I got the idea of trying to get a group together to put an ECHL team. And we started from scratch, Brett, from inventing the name to going to the Cow Palace to flooding the ice myself and building the rink myself to getting a franchise up and running to affiliating with the San Jose Sharks. We did it all. The only thing I wish is that we had maybe a few more partners that we could have kept the funding going, but it was some difficult times. There was a lot of things going on in the state of California at the time, but I wish that team was going to stick around a long time. We knew the American Hockey League was coming. We just couldn't hang on long enough, which was shitty.
Ah, man. No, and then like you put yourself into something like that, right? You would have put your whole, I know you. I can already tell. I can already tell by talking to you for a little bit. You would have put everything you had into that, eh?
We did, buddy. We took it from the ground to nothing to selling out the Cow Palace on the first game was unbelievable to see.
What's
that
the
whole
Cow
baby
Palace?
Oh my God. It's one of the most famous arenas in the world. It's where the San Jose Sharks played their first pro game in 1992, but the thing was built in 1947 in Daly City, which is just south of San Francisco, right across the street from where Candlestick Park was, where the San Francisco 49ers played the majority of their careers.
Well, I've never been to that part of the world. I've never been to California, so I can't really comment, you know?
It's pretty cool. You need to go one day. You'd love it. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I've been to a lot of places, but never out that direction. Okay. Yeah, didn't know what it was. The Cow Palace. Eh? So how many people are you selling out then?
We had put tarps in certain parts of the arena. So we had capacity for about 9,000. We had 8,871 the first game.
Is that right?
Yeah.
So cool. In that lineup, was there Chris Frank or Trevor Hendricks?
But yeah, I think they're both there. I think Frankie came after. Maybe Hendricks was there. I can't remember, but they both played for me in San Francisco. I can tell you that.
Yeah, they're my buddies. They both
they played out there. Yeah, right on. Good dudes.
Yeah, though I love those guys. Everybody I pod with though I do, so that's kind of weird. But yeah, so then how does so when a team folds and you see it folds, like that's just backing and like having investors and like it's the whole thing. There's so much to it, right? That
I'll tell you how it went. We had found investors in San Francisco that would have took the team over for just the debt. So meaning they wouldn't have paid any money, and we had invested tons and tons of money. And some of the Ontario investors were like, if we do that, we can't claim the losses on our taxes. So they would rather see the team shut down and bury us than give it away to someone taking it over for debt. And that's how the team folded. It was devastating. Still hurts to this day thinking about those few months after that. It was terrible.
To be honest, I can't imagine. It sounds to me, it would be like what you did there, and you saw it and you started it and you did everything.
Like losing a child, Brent. It was like losing a child. Yeah.
No, what I was gonna say, it'd be like somebody trying to take over my shed.
All right. Well, they're just as much.
This is mine. This is mine. This was my idea, and it'd be like someone saying this has to stop.
Exactly.
And it can't.
Devastating.
Yeah. I'm going to take a break though after today. I'm taking a break. I gotta see in-laws, and we got Christmas stuff, and I gotta be a dad. So I have done 110 episodes in 10 months, folks, but I am going to take at least a week here. So sorry if I don't give you any entertainment for a week, but I got to do it. But I'll be back at it in no time. Okay. After I take a week of rest and relaxation, who knows how many I could do, right?
That's right.
Okay. Be a lot of time to plan stuff. Anyways, moving on.
Mm-hmm.
So then you go from that. Okay. So you've been a head coach, a GM. How were the teams there before you fold? That's another question.
Yeah, we had a real good competitive team. You've got to remember, we started from scratch. No expansion draft. There's nothing. You're basically just recruiting players, and we were made the playoffs in year one. It was amazing, great, a lot of success, and we had a better team year two before we folded. So
what part of the year did you fold? Cabinet maker, Bayfield Brewing Company.
January of the second year, so we were almost past the midway mark of the second year when we ran out of dough.
That
killer.
Sucks.
Yeah, it was killer.
I don't think the teams in Europe care as much as you did about going bankrupt. Right? Like, no. I remember in Europe, like I was at a game, Hanover went bankrupt.
Yeah.
It's just interesting that anyways, but no, it's tough for everybody, right? Like that was your baby. And then all the players, like they got to go find stuff.
Still got all kinds of stuff here. I got all kinds of memorabilia. I just haven't really unpacked it all, but I got one thing here. The stick, an old stick we gave away, Brent. I'll show you. The old Bulls. Take a look at her, boys.
Oh boy, the San Francisco Bulls, professional.
All signed by the club, the boys. Yeah, it was crazy.
Oh man, and you started a pro hockey team. That's cool.
And man. I walked into San Jose Sharks with Doug Wilson, and we got an affiliation with them in year one. It was unreal.
You just walked right in there and said, "I'm starting a team.
I'm going to be down the street. Give me some players." They ended up giving us 7 players, 2 goalies. Few players, you know who I had from them, and still my buddy to this day, Yanni Gord.
Oh, that guy gives her, eh?
Yeah, worked his way up. He was an ECHL guy, and now look at him, Stanley Cup champion.
Oh, he's just one of those guys that just gives her. He's just got a motor that he's trying harder than everybody else, and y'all better try it. Yeah, and the rest of the team's got to follow him, right? I've seen him play.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I bet you'd talk a lot, eh?
He was such a little kid. He didn't have a hair on his face. Scott Langdon was our captain. He walked in the room and goes, "Whose kid is this?" Literally thought it was someone's kid. That's how young he looked, Yanni. It was crazy.
Oh, man, we're getting sidetracked. Okay, so how do you go from the San Francisco Bulls to getting a job in Europe again? Because you haven't been to Europe in a long time.
Yeah. So during my time in London, I've done a couple trips. I did one in 2004, one in 2008. Where I took pro players to Europe on a tour for 2 weeks. I had guys raise money, and we took all kinds of players. Robbie Schrempf,
So how you did that, and how did you decide to do that? You're their agent?
No, I just I don't know how I decided to do it.
I have a passion for hockey, and you want to see people do well.
Exactly, and we did that in August, and raised all the money, took pros every year, and I did that. And when I was over there, we played Landsuit. We played all these teams. We went traveling around with these pros, and we did it for 2 weeks. Everything paid for. And while I was over there, I met so many people, and I was like, I got to get back.
Did you say this was during a lockout?
No, this was during August. We did it twice, 2004, 2008. In August for 14 days, we played Landsuit, Munich.
How do you raise the money?
Some rich people that wanted to donate. Yeah. It was crazy. Probably cost $200,000 for the 2 weeks. Take 24 players and coaches and pay for hotels, and I did it all. Organized it all. Flights, hotels.
What year? What year was this? Because Robbie Schrempf's only a year younger than me, eh?
2008. We brought Schrempy, Sam Gagne, Mark Massat, Adam Dennis. In 2004, we took a few older guys that you would recognize, I'm sure, as well. Then in 2009, I did the Eurocan Cup in London, where we brought the teams to London. When we paid for them, we sold out the London Gardens where the London Knights played in August for a tournament. We brought Munich, Linz, and Zug from Switzerland. And we beat them.
When did you do that?
2009, August, called the Eurocan Cup. And we would have kept it going.
You beat them with who?
So we had Sam Gagne, Robbie Schrempf.
You're talking about the London Knights?
We had all alumni London Knights guys that lived in London play in a legitimate tournament, refs, sold out crowd, outside party and beer tents. We did it all. It was unbelievable.
Where am I from? What the hell?
We would have ran it every year had it not been for how much insurance was costing for these players' contracts. That was how it ended in 2009. Yeah.
You are an entrepreneur, eh?
Well, wait till I tell you the best one here at the end. And I'm going to tell you, I got to tell you what we're doing now.
Okay. No, this is all really exciting because it sounds fun. Like that all sounds fun to see that all happen, and all those guys get to do that and be part of hockey again. And I bet you those guys living around London would have been so jacked up to do that.
Oh, they all played. It was like the Stanley Cup. I think I got a picture here that I could pull up on my phone.
By the way, Mark Mathot was the only one I really know out of that group. He was a teammate in Syracuse.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
I got a picture somewhere here of the team picture from that tournament. I'll see if I can find it here while we're talking.
No, but anyways, that is really wild. So, but we got sidetracked again. So how'd you get to Milan, and how'd you become the head coach of Milan after the San Francisco Bulls fold? So I'm curious about like hockey coaches and their lives, right? So they get fired and then they basically have like months to try and find something. So are they just like looking all the time to see who gets fired and what's open, or do they got an agent doing that? Are you doing coaches?
Yes, we do. We represent a lot of coaches. We have the majority. We have about 11 guys, assistants and heads in the DL, and all over the place. The Ice League, wherever we can help coaches get jobs, we do. Here, I found a picture. I'm going to text it to you, Brett.
Did you know that my under 11 team is well over 500 and won their first tournament of the year?
That might have been a London Knights team I sent you. Maybe not the tournament, but anyway.
Oh, dude, I can't. It's weird for me because I can multitask, but when I get into the shed, I don't like looking at phones. I don't like looking.
I know.
I don't know if I want to look at this. I really don't. I get sidetracked enough already with shit. Okay.
Oh, Brett, that's awesome.
No, but seriously, I don't like looking.
So where are you right now? Where is the shed?
The shed's in my backyard.
But where? Where are you in England?
I'm in Kincardine, Ontario, Canada.
Oh, you're in Kincardine. Nice.
Yeah, you know where that is?
I sure do.
Really?
Now, of course I know where Kincardine is.
It's not nice at all, folks. You guys should move
snowing.
here.
It's snowing for sure.
Actually, oh wow. Okay, I can't read that. I'll look at it later.
Look at it later. Just
later. I like to get in the pocket. You know, one thing I found about this is real, and I've talked to Stephen Meyer about it. He told me the pocket's real, whether you know. Anyways, the guys I interview that are younger, they can look at screens, they can look at phones, they can do two things at once and talk to me. But they don't know how to get into the pocket. They don't know how to like really get fully into the shed.
Engaged in the situation. Yeah.
Like actually be there, like be here. Like, don't look at that shit. Like, just do this, and we're doing it. And by the end of this hour and a half, we're going to feel like we really know each other. And I don't know if that happens in hockey. Is that a thing in hockey now that they really aren't? They might be brothers, but not like totally.
I think it's definitely the new age kids are different. They're definitely different. Yeah. So what year were you born? 81, you said?
83, buddy.
83.
Hey, so clean it up. I look good right now. Come on.
Yeah, I thought you were still playing right now. The way you go, looking mighty and fit.
Dude, I'm actually I'm well lighter than I was in Germany, like 20 pounds lighter.
Oh man, Germany! I love Germany, man. One of my favorite places. The food,
hard to be an athlete though. Like
with the beer and the food. I eat schnitzel every day. Bratwurst.
Oh God, why you realize we just met and you're talking dirty to me, right? No, but seriously, like the food in Germany. Like I didn't even like the strong mustard at first, but by the end you're like,
you're just loving it. You're dunking it right in there. And just
rub it right on your chest. Yeah. God. No, that is how I got a lot of Chester. I just lost all the notes here. I just got so excited about food that well, I guess they come up all the time. You want to talk about Christmas markets? Because this is what happens, right? You go over there, you just love the whole idea of like getting to live in North America, but also getting to see all of that shit. And you get to live that life still, eh?
100%, buddy. I love it. And I love telling players, love helping players go there. And we know where to eat, sleep, drink, fart, shit, party, whatever you want to do. And we're going to put you in the right spot and you're going to love it. Because we know we've been there. We've sat there. We've seen it. We've done it. And that's why, and then when the players go and they experience that, there's nothing more fulfilling when they're loving the call and say, hey man, we love it. You know, that's
no, you're absolutely right. And it's like Monty said, it's about fitting the player with the spot, right? And like
placing the player to the opportunity, you know, boom, you know?
Yeah, no, I do know. And like Germany fit me, and it was just shit luck that I ended up there. But Germany fit me, right? Like realistically, you're looking like a guy that's a scorer that isn't really a third, fourth liner on a team at that point in my career. Is supposed to be a scorer. Like there's not that many leagues of the level I was at that like are gonna take a chance on me or whatever. And it's just shit luck, right? And 100%. I'm sure you guys would have guided me the same way as what actually happened.
For sure.
Maybe. You guys probably would have had me in the Swiss A League, but I was too slow. Okay, so Milan, how'd you get the job? Are we going to talk about this yet or not? I've asked you 3 times.
Yeah, we're going to get to it right now. So San Francisco had folded. I'd been off for a few months, talked to a few teams about possibly getting a job. Nothing had come to fruition. And because of my success there as a player that year in Milan, a lot of the people that were involved with that team still had some ties. And Dave Amonte had called me because he was buddies with the guy that was the GM at the time who remembered me and asked if I wanted to go. Money was shit, but I was going to be the head coach, and I knew I was going to go back to Milan where I knew everybody. I said, I'll take the job. And so when I got there, they said, we're not supposed to make the playoffs and all that, but we got some really good imports that really overachieved. And
is Amonte the guy bringing you those guys?
I think Dave did represent 1 or 2 of them, to be honest, but I wasn't involved on that side at the time. And we overachieved. Coach. I was just the coach, and we overachieved, and the fans were going nuts. And really, they made me feel like I was a hero what I did there. But I have to give the players the credit. Like we had Nicola Fontanive, he's an Italian kid, was our captain. He was an unbelievable leader. I talk about it. If it wasn't for him, we would have never had the success we had. We went to the finals with that team, and from there, the offers and opportunities just started coming my way.
Yeah, it's crazy in Europe. You're right. Like you go there with the expectations aren't that high, and you do well, and it's just like a roller coaster to the moon, right? It's like when I went to Landshut and they've picked their team, they've signed their big imports, they don't have much money left, and then they're like, well, we just need like someone to play right wing on the first line, but then they bring in this cheap guy, and then you do well and you make it to the finals and you almost win it, and then all of a sudden like you're in Germany for 6 years, right?
Exactly. It's how she rolls, man.
It is weird, but then you go over there with huge expectations and they signed you to a big deal. She's a whole different experience.
100%. You better perform.
You better, or you're out of there.
Right.
Yeah. That's like project management. That's how I have my MBA is under promise, over deliver, right?
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. That's just what I did with my wages in hockey. Shoot. Okay. So Milan, then you go to the finals, but then you go to the big budget team, you sell out, go to Val Police for the big dough.
Yeah, so I did get a raise there, but the funny thing about Val Pellicet was Doug Shedden, who was a friend of mine, he had been fired in Zug, then he went to the KHL, and he was just waiting for a job, and Lugano was struggling. They were in dead last, and he calls me up. He says, hey, any chance you can get out of Val Pellicet if I get the job in Lugano? I just interviewed, and there's a chance I can get it. And I said, if you get the job in Lugano, I'll get out of Val Pellicet. And that's what happened. He got the job at the November break. They were in dead last. Him and I went in there, just made it fun again, went all the way to the finals, lost in game 6 against Bern, lost to Canada in the Spangler Cup, got a silver medal. I got 2 of them somewhere here. And we went on.
So how did you know Doug Shedden, and why is he calling you?
So Shedden, I brought to Eurocan Cup 2009. He was the coach of Zug. Brought Shedden to London, Ontario, drank beers. He played in Quebec with Dale Hunter. There's always a connection, right? And that's how it all went down.
But it's also you being an entrepreneur and bringing all those people together. And then all of a sudden, you know people.
100%, buddy. That's exactly right. And that's how it happened. So, and you're fast forwarding almost 10 years and you still keep in touch, and that's how it goes, you know?
Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, you're right. Interesting times. Okay. That's cool though, because I saw Doug Shedden, like his name comes up all the time of random guys, but
so I'll keep going, Brent. So then because after Lugano, we get fired in January, not because the team's bad. We're in 4th place. We're not as good, but we have
I got other questions. You can't skip ahead. Yeah.
I thought we were still on the Lugano. Go ahead.
I don't care what you got to do today. I took a half day. Sit there and enjoy it. Okay. I think I'm going to pull out another beer yet too. So
go ahead.
You're going to have to sit down and just relax. Okay.
All right. What's your next question?
Okay. Here we go. Lugano. I played against them. Okay.
Did you?
Yeah. Lost 7-0 with the Bietigheim Steelers. Don't know why we were playing them. Don't know who set that up. It was our coach. He set it up somehow. But anyways, we lost 7-0 and the crowd was chanting, "What league do you play in?" And it was not Rob Niedermeyer was on the team. A couple other guys, but man, what a spot in the world Lugano is. And you got to live there.
Oh man, it was unbelievable. Gorgeous every day.
In Switzerland.
Yes. And sunshine every day, Brent. 300 days a year of sunshine. Unbelievable place. Yeah. Amazing.
Right. And I just I didn't even know places like that in the world existed. Right. But you're living there.
Yeah. It was unbelievable.
And you got to keep the players focused, right?
Yeah, I mean, the Swiss market's a difficult spot. You only get so many imports, as you know, you're allowed to dress 4, and the rest are Swiss players. So you got to really be, on your toes with how you're treating players and how you're, because they're not, you just can't move players around. You're stuck with what you got. So it's a unique spot to coach, no doubt.
And that is different about each league, right? Every league is completely different. How it's 100%. Ran, how it's done. You're right. Like in Switzerland, every Swiss player is getting paid however much money, but you can't just send him out because he's on the 3 or 4 year deal like the NHL, right?
100%, making big money.
And then you got the East Coast, like the San Francisco Bulls or the Greenville, whatever they are with Lordo nowadays. Literally there's 60 players on each roster, right?
The amount of players that come in and out, it's unbelievable.
But then you look at the NHL and it's like, well, these guys are here, and whether you like them or not, they're here.
That's exactly right. Right.
Very interesting. Okay. I'm not gonna make sure I won't let you get tired on me. Okay. I'm almost done. I'm almost done. All
right.
No, I got nothing else. I'm looking. You went from Lugano. So then the second year.
Yeah.
This is my other question. The second year, you guys must have just finished the Spengler Cup, and it says you got fired in January, but you were in the finals of the Spengler Cup. So everybody's having a great time. It's Christmas. Everybody's riding the sleighs with the horses. It's on TSN. You get to the finals, you do well, and then 2 weeks later, it's like, sorry, you don't have a job anymore.
Yeah, it was devastating. So it wasn't because we weren't good. It wasn't because we were in the middle of the pack. What had happened was, it's hard to say, but the GM, we weren't his guys, and he was just looking for an opportunity to make a change, and he got his wish and he made a change, and we should have still been coaching there because we did nothing wrong and the players loved us and we would have went to the finals again. So,
you know what's funny about the whole coaching world is when you're not someone's guy, I guess it's anywhere in the world, right?
Yeah.
Anywhere in the world. If you're not someone's guy, you're not someone's guy.
Just the way it goes, man.
So it's like when the Bietigheim Steelers bring in Kevin Gaudette, right? And the Scorpions aren't there. There's nobody dishing out beers. There's no and he's just like, sorry, you have to go now. So then what is the final decision though after Balzano that I'm an agent now? This is what I want to do.
So sum it up. Bolzano calls me. I'm Italian. I speak Italian. And the owner for years, even when I was in Milan, was asking me about imports when he went to the Able. And so we kind of had a relationship. And then he comes to me after the Lugano job and says, I want you to be my head coach, help me build a team, but I don't have a lot of money. I said, I can build you a team and we can win a championship. He thought I was crazy. We signed Mike Angelides, Dominic Amodio, Chris D'Souza. I got these guys for 25, 30,000, all of them to come play for me. We signed in Bolzano.
Euros?
The season starts. Euros, yeah. We signed in Bolzano. The season starts, and we get off to the worst start because we have so many injuries. We have no players. We got no goalie. We have nothing. I said, if we get a goalie, we can win this whole thing. We signed Matt Climie. The first game we played with Matt Climie, we beat Lynch, who's in first place, and we're in last, but it was real close. We beat him 4-1. I said, we're going to be fine. We got a goalie. The next day in practice, Matt Clark blows a tire, lands on Matt Climie's knee, blows him out. He's done for a year. Got no goalie again. We go on the road, lose 3 straight. The fans are going crazy. They want me fired. I kept saying to the owner, don't fire me. We're going to win the championship. He held on. He was actually good. He brought me to his office. He's like, I got to do something. The fans are going crazy. I said, when we get every player back, and I have text messages, I said, when we get every player back, we're going to win this league. They thought I was crazy. Fired me in December. Barsky, my assistant coach, he's Lordo's assistant coach. We got him that job in Greenville. He stayed there, basically still coached the team. Nothing changed, not one thing. All the players came back, and sure enough, they win the championship. They win it all. So I was devastated. I go, this is crazy. But during that time, Brett and Gary, Dave was still an agent, but with a different group, and they were talking to Dave at the time to merge. They said, do you have time to meet me in Vegas? So I meet Gary and Brett in Vegas, Optimal World Sports, and they're like, Ron 68 wants to retire. Brett 68 wants to retire. We want you to take over those guys' part of the company and be an agent with us. And I mulled it over and I thought, oh man, kind of go right back 360 to where I started. And that's what I did. And it's been awesome. Been awesome. We've grown the company. We've taken care of so many guys, and we really enjoy doing that, Brent.
Honestly, cabinet maker, Canadian Pale Ale, Bayfield Brewer Company.
All right.
No, but seriously, I would much rather be on your side than the coach's side. I don't know. I don't know. I'm pretty new to getting back in the game. I've been out of it for a long time, but both can be very fulfilling. Coaching my little under 11 team is very, very fulfilling. When I see them do shit, when I see them come together, I see them become a team and play better than they should. That's fulfilling. Yeah. But then when you could, like you say, when you set a guy up in just the perfect spot and he becomes whatever in that town,
leading the team in scoring, help the team win, and all these different things, you feel great. You feel part of it. You know, it's awesome.
Yeah, you would, right? And you feel like you're still part of it and you're helping a guy, and like you'd be excited to talk to them, right? Where
100%.
Sometimes I had some agents where like you reach out to them and you don't hear back, and you're like, well, why am I not hearing back? Like, is it because he doesn't want to talk to me? Is it because he has nothing to say? Like, at least just tell me what's going on. And it wasn't until I started doing shit myself, and I was like, you know what? I'm a big boy now. I know enough people around here. I'm going to do this myself. I would get the answers right away. They'd say, I'm looking at this guy and this guy, but you're here. Or it's like, yes, we're into it. This is what we can offer. It was way better for me, but it was finding out what's really going on. Right.
Yeah. 100%. We try to respond to all our guys, and that's what we want to do. We separate ourselves by servicing our players, being available for them. You know, sure, we can't be there 24/7, but within a certain period of time, you have to get back to guys, and people respect it and thank you for it. Right.
Well,
you know?
and as long as you're an honest guy and it's like, hey, I'm going to go do this with my wife or my kids for this long, or I'm going to do this for a day or two, but like, I'm going to get back to you. Like, there's so many hockey players and I know what they're like, right? Like I was the same guy. You come July and you got nothing, man, the phone's going to be ringing and you better be telling me something. Right.
100%. No, that's right.
Yeah. That's just
basically it.
But if you can set them up in the right spot and then they're happy, it's great. Right.
Awesome. Yeah, it really is.
It's pretty cool that you've been able to stay in the game. So do you want your player review now?
Yeah, let's give it to me.
Yeah. Because you're a hockey lifer and you're as passionate about the game as me, I think. I found a way to get back in the game, but for you as a player, let's see here. I think you're a forward. I think you're probably a third line center, maybe a winger, but you're not the most mobile guy around the ice. Not the best shot. You're probably not running the power play, but you're gonna bring the team together. You're a glue guy, and everybody's gonna be together. Everybody's gonna like each other, and you're gonna bring everything you got every night and show everybody how hard to work. You're probably not the most over talented guy toe dragging people, but you know what? If someone needed to get hit hard or like stick up for a teammate, you're there. How'd I do?
You're bang on, buddy. It's like you played on my line.
Yeah. Well,
100%.
Hey, I'm telling people I can do this. Just keep listening to every pod, right? And I'll do it every single time.
Right on, buddy. Awesome.
No, but seriously, and the thing is I've met you now. I've met Monty now, and I'm telling you, I wish you guys existed when I was a player. I really do.
Thanks, buddy. Appreciate that.
No, like I really do, because if like there's a lot of different guys that like I don't know how you guys get on to someone or decide they're a player for you. But like I feel like I was never asked to have an agent. Nobody ever asked to be my agent until I was leading the nation in scoring in NCAA.
Wow.
Junior year. Wow. It was my third year of college, and I had never been asked to have an agent.
What school did you go to, Brent?
Western Michigan.
Western Michigan. Nice. We represented a lot of guys. Gary's son went to Western Michigan, our partner.
Really?
Steven Saigo. He's a 90 though. You're an 83, so you would have missed them.
Yeah, no, they're more legit now, man.
Yeah.
They're like top 10 now, man. They're top 5 now.
Oh man.
No, but seriously, I never was asked to have an agent until I was junior year. I'm leading the nation in scoring, and then all of a sudden I have a lot of agents ask me, but not one. So how do you guys get on to somebody? How do you decide?
So what makes Optimum World Sports so successful? They started this 30 years ago, and they partner with a lot of the North American agents. And what happens is when those North American players, their North American agents,
they expire.
They give them to us, and we take care of them in Europe, and we share revenue with these agents. So our business continues to evolve every year, which is a win-win for us and for them, right? That's how we get the majority of it. Yeah, that's what Optimum based their business model of in the 90s when they started. Yeah. So we still do some recruiting and stuff, obviously, because we know the game. We're always around. But the majority of our players come from existing partners.
And they're getting handed to you. And
they get handed to us. Then we represent them. Like we got agents that haven't talked to the players in 4 or 5 years, but we still pay them. So that's a win-win, right? They don't have to ever follow them anymore. They give them to us, and they know they're going to get paid forever.
All right. Well, here's a real question, because I was a player that never got double dipped. Some agents double dip. You get paid by the, you don't double dip?
Never.
Okay. I got to explain it to the people though.
Yeah.
The teams pay an agent fee in Europe. And there's agents out there in the world that say you also have to pay me because they think players like in North America that you pay your agent. In Europe, I never paid my agent anything.
That's right. So most of the guys we represent, 99% of them, the only countries that don't pay agent fees are Switzerland and the KHL for the most part. And some teams in Slovakia, but I promise you, if you're playing there, you're happily paying us.
Yeah, no shit. Well, I would like, honestly, everything I've heard is actually like, I like helping out good people. I had never met you before this. We've been doing this for a while now. And like, I had a Monty on, I'd never met him. And I never found an agent I gelled with my whole career. I never found one that like, I was like, this is it. This is it. And like, seriously, you guys are both it, and you're on the same team.
Right on.
Isn't that weird? I think it's weird.
But it's probably why we get along. Why we have such a good group of guys that we work with.
Yeah, you guys must have a terrible time going to Europe and catching up and hitting
Oh,
the
we were just in
Christmas
Vegas all
markets.
together. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, no, I'm sure, because you guys, you don't even have to be in shape to play hockey. No, I get it.
Yeah.
It's like going out to your shed. You don't have to be in shape to do this.
No kidding. But I want to tell you our exciting project, Brett, before you kick me off your show.
No, okay. This is it. Let's do it.
All right, buddy. So I don't know if you're a crypto guy and you're kind of following the whole cryptocurrency stuff, but it's the future. It's where we're going. And as agents, we see all the time the difficulties of moving money around. And you know, when you went to Europe early, how hard it was to wire money back. And it even gets harder out of Russia and different countries. We can tell you stories where guys in Russia had to sign their life over to the taxi driver so he can get power of attorney, go to the bank and wire money that took 3 weeks to come. Anyways, all this stuff kind of made us so interested in this process, and met a couple of guys. They started the escrow platform, which is going to be the best platform to do smart contracts and all this stuff. And from that, we're starting a platform called the Locker Token. And the Locker Token is going to be a one-stop shop that's going to be, you can buy and sell crypto, get paid right on your phone, move money from anywhere in the world, everything right on this platform. It's going to be so exciting. We'll have more for you to publish and talk to people about in about 90 days, buddy. It's going to be incredible. Right? Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be awesome.
You're still doing the entrepreneurial thing, eh? I don't know shit about crypto.
It's the future, Brett. Start buying some and start saving, because it's going to go up and up and up.
So that's not real money. That's some other thing.
The fiat money they keep printing, it keeps going down. So crypto, there's a lot of scarcity. There's a lot of things behind it. But this Locker platform is going to be amazing. We'll send you more about it when the time comes.
Jeepers, my brain can hardly handle what I got going on right now. You're bringing it a whole different level here.
It's going to be awesome.
Wow, that's very exciting. And like for me, you know, just a small fry here in my shed, but I'm really excited that my shed in the last 10 months, my friend's wife gets in an accident. We can raise money with my jersey that's been in my closet for 5 years. And that's by going to my website, www.aleshockeytales.com. And they're £2 a ticket. And please buy a few more. I know there's only a day left, and probably most of you won't listen to this till after. But anyways, it'd be cool if I can go there tomorrow to his hockey game and say, look at this, buddy. I just raised you a couple grand by talking to people in my shed, drinking beers, right?
I love it. Love it. Pros.
Is that not cool? If I'm not an entrepreneur, who knows, right?
You are so, buddy. I love it.
Just because I don't make money doesn't make me not an entrepreneur. I'm helping my friends, right?
100%, Brett.
And seriously, if any young punks need an agent, I'm pretty sure these fellas can find what you're looking for, because I didn't have them, and I wish I would have. So this has been another episode of Two Ales and Hockey Tales with Kurch Dog, is what Saltz called him. What is it? Kurch?
Cur Dog.
Cur Dog.
Yeah.
Cur Dog and Wally.